Hi, Chris. How are you doing today?
Hi, Gilbert. Going very well, thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us here for the update on Lithium Resources. Maybe you can give us a quick overview about the company.
Sure, Gilbert. Look, Lat Resources has been operating in South America now for 15 years. We originally started in Peru with some copper assets. We still have those copper assets. We then, in 2017, went into Argentina to look for lithium, hard rock spodumene, which we have a lot of here in Western Australia. We drilled those projects, and then 2018 and 2019, we started looking for hard rock spodumene in Brazil, close to a company called Sigma, who is now a $4 billion company and moving into production. So we pegged a lot of areas. We staked some ground in Brazil. COVID hit Brazil pretty bad, so I had to take our people out of there. But we got back on the ground late 21, finished off our drill targets, and then we started drilling in February of last year and had a major discovery of lithium spodumene, and that's gone very well since. We now have a 13.3 million tonne resource, and that will be upgraded in June to, we think, a significantly larger resource. So that's how we got started.
Great to hear that. So let's touch upon a few recent updates from your company. So you recently had a capital raise from the institutional. So it seems like quite well received by some of the new funds. Maybe you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, sure. Look, we had strong interest. We did a roadshow through Brazil, Sao Paulo, New York, Toronto, Melbourne and Sydney, and we had tremendous interest from major institutions, in particularly out of Sao Paulo. We had BTG and JPG. BTG is the largest investment bank in Brazil, so they've contributed, and they're now one of our largest shareholders, both those investment funds. And look, we had some good funds out of New York, Canada. 70% of the money came from North America, and some institutional support here in Australia, which Canaccord ran that whole book for us and did a great job. So we now have over $50 million in the bank, with strength in the balance sheet, so we can run through we're drilling 65,000 meters at the moment at our Salinas project in Brazil, and we have 8 rigs on site. So we now have enough money to be fully funded through to our DFS, which will be producing next year.
So let's talk more about your exploration and resource upgrade work that you're progressing.
Yeah, sure. So I said earlier, we have 8 rigs on site, 65,000 meters. We're about 33,000 meters into that 65,000 meter program, all focused on Salinas and the Colina West project, which is where we're finding most of that high-grade lithium. So we intend on putting a resource upgrade out from our 13 million tonnes in June. As I said, I think that will be significantly higher. We're not sure on how large yet, but that's going really well. We're also in the process of running all our environmental studies, started November last year. So we will run through those studies and continue to, that'll probably be another 6 to 8 months with environmental studies before they're finished. The PEA will also be completed in July. And so look, it's very all hands on deck. We're working very hard to get through that. Also, we're getting some representative samples of our deposit up to SGS and Lakefield in Canada to run some DMS test work through there. So yeah, lots of work, lots of news flow coming up.
Exciting times ahead indeed. So you also recently signed an MOU with the Minas government of Brazil to fast track the project. So maybe tell us what's the significance of that?
Yes, good question, Gilbert. So we're in the province of Minas Gerais, which is Brazil's largest mining jurisdiction, over 300 mines operating in Minas Gerais. BHP, Rio Tinto, Vale, Sigma, all big companies operating in Minas Gerais. It's a great mining jurisdiction. Minas Gerais government want to create a battery metal sector within Minas Gerais. So they've got nickel, they've got copper, and they've got lithium, obviously. So we have received a certificate from the Minas Gerais government to fast track our development, our project. So what does that mean? Traditionally, once we lodge our environmental studies in our development approval application, it would take up to 12 months for that to be approved. We now have commitment from the Minas Gerais government to do that within 6 months. So that's incredibly important from an aspect of getting on the ground and start building our project. So they've been wonderful, along with the communities of Minas Gerais, and in particular Salinas. We employ 60 people from the local town. They're very excited this project's going to be developed, which create jobs for the local community. And it's very important in countries in South America, having operated there for 15 years, that the communities are behind the project, which they are. And in particular, obviously the local province of Minas Gerais is very, very much behind the project.
So in conclusion, so what kind of milestones or catalysts or news the investors should be looking for in the next 6 to 12 months from Latin?
Yes, there's a lot of news flow coming through the next 6 to 12 months. We have our resource upgrade in June. We'll have a PEA, our preliminary economic assessment, or our feasibility study, completed probably around July, August. So that'll be out. There'll be further drilling, the rest of 65,000 metres up to December. So we're going to be looking at drilling there all the way through to December. There'll be further resource upgrades through that period in earlier next year. We will start on our DFS once our PEA is completed, and that'll be completed first half of next year. Environmental study completed, our drilling our development approval application going in, ready to start construction, we hope, in 25, all going well.
Wow, indeed, lots of exciting things to happen on the go.
Gilbert, the other thing I will mention is that Sigma Lithium goes into production next month, and Sigma is our peer. If your clients would like to look at Sigma Lithium, they started construction last year on their plant. They completed February this year. They've had 3 months of commissioning. They go into production next month. So within 18 months, from start to finish, they're in production, and we hope to follow that particular route as well.
That's exciting indeed, because some of our audience should be aware, should know the story of Sigma, because Sigma Lithium actually presented at our conference 2 years ago. So I think this will be another opportunity for people to follow you as potentially the next Sigma. Yeah, well, with these research reports going out, which I'll send through to you, calling it Sigma 2.0. Now, Sigma's market cap is just over $4 billion. Our market cap is $300 million. So hopefully we'll catch up not only in production, but in market capitalization very soon. Again, thank you for your time here to share your story with us, Chris. Thank you, Gilbert. Thanks very much for your time. Thank you. Bye. Indeed.